Hello, beautiful Leo souls, and welcome to your 2025 tarot forecast. This is your psychic advisor, Micah, and I'm going to be offering you guidance on how to excel this upcoming year. Okay, so this reading is going to start talking about the energies that you're exiting from like the end of 2024, and then it is going to talk about um, April 2025. That's where we're going to start. Because that's where this reading starts, and that's where the astrological new year begins in April, which is very it's like a practice in Zoroastrianism, where I think it's like in like Iran or somewhere they start their new year in April. And I mean, I don't know, like agriculturally, it makes sense. It's springtime. It's when all the baby sheep and stuff are being born. So it's like a good place. It's a very good place to start. Um, you know, Sound of music. Okay. So the energy that you're walking away from at the end of 2024 and at the beginning of 2025, like let's say January, February, and March, is that of the Eight of Wands, which is like eight is a crazy number of feeling overwhelmed. So, you may have been going at too fast of a pace in 2024. I know for myself, it's like, the world moves fast. You feel a lot of anxiety. So, like, if you're a shoemaker or a toy maker, you're like, okay, I'm going to make 800 shoes. I'm going to have a huge inventory, all these things. But you know, it's like if you focused on one thing at a time, it would be better. So instead of making like 800 pairs of shoes, if you made just like one really good pair of shoes or eight really good pairs of shoes. Actually, I know this girl on TikTok that I used to work with, and I don't think she's a Leo though, but she was like designing a pair of boots, like putting rhinestones on them or something. So I know that checks out. So that's what was going on in 2024. You're like doing too much, do less, say less. And in April 2025, we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. So the Page of Pentacles reversed is like I did a reading for this other woman. I don't even know her sign. But I was like, oh my, it was like the first time I ever did a reading for her or him. I think it's a her, yeah. First time I ever did a reading for her, and it was like a video reading. I don't remember speaking to them because I'm pretty sure I met them on Reddit. And I got the Page of Pentacles reversed in their first house, and I was like, "Oh, you lazy? I don't know, you being lazy." Um, but the Page of Pentacles, I always say it's a Virgo, typically a Virgo person, woman, child, small framed man, whatever. Uh, but a lot of the times with the Page of Pentacles, I've noticed they tend to be like mice or cats. I think in her video or in a lot of these videos, I've talked about them being like the Baka Neko, which you being a Leo and then getting this like Virgo card in your first house, you could have a rising Virgo. You could be too lazy to look up where Virgo placements are in your chart. You may not feel like you want to be of service to people because Virgos are like they're like people diminish the help, but we need help, right? And Virgos are helpers, and you might be very helpful. You might be being lazy, unhelpful at this moment or in April, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like sometimes it's not your business to help everybody. I don't necessarily see the Ten of Wands here, like you taking on the burdens of other people, but it's like you acting like a lazy house cat being in your way, which I think is very apropos of a Leo reading to receive the Page of Pentacles reversed. So it's like Page of Pentacles reversed. You could be a Leo with a rising Virgo. You could be a lazy Leo. You could be a very Virgo leaning Leo. In the month of April, you could be having a lot of interactions with some lazy Virgo who might be doing things to lower your self esteem. Or your self esteem might be lowered because you're not really practicing the self care and healing that you need to practice for yourself. like conditioning your hair, moisturizing your face, things like that. Okay. So in May of 2025, and this your second house in the Taurus house, we have the Judgment card reverse. You may be trying to reconcile with a Virgo or a Taurus and a Scorpio, and I'm seeing that the answer is no. So computer says no. So if there's something on your mind while watching this video that's a yes or no question, the answer is no. And this is relating towards finances. So if you're looking for like a promotion in 2025, if you're looking for new resources or priorities, it's saying to like focus on your finishing your old projects. Um, the Judgment card also always comes up to me as the FEMA card, like when people need hurricane relief. But I also see it as like financial aid, um, government aid, because the Emperor is right next to it too. Reverse. So this is saying like if you're trying to apply for government assistance, if you're trying to apply for financial aid, May 2025 may not be the best year for you to do that, because there's other things that you need to finish. For Leo, in the first, April, May, and then moving into June of 2025, in your third house, in the Gemini house, we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. So this says like you don't work well with others, or you're not getting along with others. So you might be very charismatic and popular, but people can tell that a lot of the dancing around that you do is out of like laziness. You might like start a lot of conversations with people to distract them so that you can get out of like doing your chores or whatever it is. And also you have like a knack for not wanting to do paperwork. I mean, I could be like, oh, you're lazy, you don't want to do your paperwork. You might have, attention deficit disorder, and it might be just very difficult for you to do paperwork. Your back might be in pain, as you are a Leo with lower back pain, and it might be hard for you to sit down and concentrate and finish whatever documentation, citation, reporting, whatever it is that you have to do, and it will catch up with you in um, June. I always confuse June and July. It will catch up with you in June if you don't do it. So that's the benefit of getting a reading that's so advanced in the future, because this you might already be experiencing these themes right now, where you might have a stack of papers next to you that you don't want to go through, and this is the call to go through it now in 2024 or in early 2025, so that when June comes along, you're like, oh, we need to see your. I mean, I guess you can pull this stuff up all up on the internet or whatever, but it's like, we need your routing and account number for your direct deposit, and it's like, oh, I got the paper right here from my bank. It's cool. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Or your passport or your ID, whatever this Three of Pentacles is. It's like the Three of Pentacles is typically a notary public, like something that needs to be notarized. So you might have some documentations that are valid, but they need some type of like certification or, like I said, notarization. Okay. And then, so moving into the summertime of 2025 in the month of July in your fourth house. So, the fourth house of astrology, the month of July, the season of Cancer, this represents your connection to your mother's side of the family, the ways that people want to nurture you, and the ways that you nurture others. And I see that is being represented by the Ace of Cups. So, your mother could be reaching out with a message telling you that she loves you. Um, if you have a Cancer X or soon to be X or Cancer Next, they could be reaching out to a message with you. You could be receiving a lot of love from water signs. And I just did a reading for a Leo today that was like a sun sign reading. So I just like read their chart, their natal chart from their sun sign, throughout the 12 houses. And I was seeing that with Leo, Sagittarius isn't the best love match for you because you're too deep. Or you want to be deeper. Like you're like 5 feet of water, and Sagittarius is like 3 feet of water in a pool. Like they just want to be in the pool, hang out, play around. They don't need it to be an Olympic sized pool, but you want to swim with the Scorpios, the Pisces, and the Aries, who are like in the deep end of an Olympic sized swimming pool. So when it comes to love matches and all these I love yous being sent to you and love messages, fill over your cup overflowing with messages of love, just use some discernment. Like you don't have to, just because someone kisses you doesn't mean you have to kiss them back. And just because somebody says that they love you doesn't mean that you have to say it back if you're not feeling it, right? Um, so, oh yeah, and then so Cancer, like so if you're a Leo rising or Leo sun, Cancer is in your 12th house, meaning that they just want to make you miserable. So this could be even be like your relationship to your mother, where it's like, everywhere I go, my mom like makes an extra effort to embarrass me. And that might even be her way of showing affection, because it sometimes, when it comes to familiar relationships and verbal abuse, sometimes it's a little bit better if they're hating on you, or that hating on you or mocking you or making fun of you is their love language, because I guess it'd be better than them like kissing you all over your face and leaving their red lipstick all, marks all over your face and things like that. I mean, like, oh, I just love my son, he's so amazing. Oh, I just love my daughter, she's the best. It's like, okay, mom, chill out. So maybe like hating on you is their form of love, but yeah. So you could be getting like a false. I mean, it's not false; it's real. Uh, Love message from a Cancer or from your mother, but they don't have the capacity to do much good for you. Alrighty. Okay. So I guess this is complicated, and I've been having not a lot of difficulty recording this video at all. More so just like forcing myself to sit down and to record this video, a lot like the lazy ADHD energy that I was feeling in early 2025 for you, Leo. Because Leo is to me, and how I read and how I interpret the tarot scope and horoscopes and yada yada, is that Leo is the house of obstacles, but like sexy obstacles. You know what I mean? So it's like you're attracted to things or to people that you may not feel like are good for you. So as I'm saying that Cancer is like the fourth, Cancer is the fourth house. It's not your fourth house, but it is the fourth house. And I always see that as a stable, rock sturdy place, but I always equate it to the Jean-Luc Pikachu, like Ash Ketchum's original Pikachu, that it's like a Pokemon that doesn't evolve. So it's like your mother might be like, come live with me, I'll take care of you, whatever, it's okay. And this is going to stop you from elevating from your childhood. Like whatever childhood traumas you were going through for the past 6 years, for the past 16 years, for the past 60 years, it'll just continue to play out with this person, unless you get a new energy in your life. And so the card that I'm seeing here in the fifth house is the Six of Pentacles reverse, which it's like you not wanting to return to your childhood, you not wanting to psychoanalyze your childhood, or wanting to admit to yourself that your childhood wasn't that great, which is fine. It's like not wanting to return to nostalgia. And even though as I'm like talking about Pokemon, like for me, when I think about Pokemon and blockbusters and Ness iced tea commercials and the Coca-Cola polar bears, those conjure really good feelings in my heart and it makes me feel warm. For other people, those time periods may not have been the best time periods in their life. Therefore, they hate, Nickelodeon nostalgia. And also Nickelodeon, I guess, is like a creeper channel, whatever. But you might hate nostalgia or like 90s nostalgia, 70s nostalgia. And someone that you're attracted to or that you want to have sex with might really like nostalgia, or they might be sort of like childish in the sense, right? Like you might be too young for them, they might be more mature than you, they might be a little stupid, or you might be a little stupid and childish and have be too wrapped up in your childhood and things like that. Uh, so if this reading right now, as it is not the most positive reading, were affirmations, I would say something like, you know, I'm very proactive. I have a good reputation from the past. Uh, I'm going to do my paperwork as soon as I want to. Uh, I feel a new love coming into my life. I feel a new level of emotions. I will not return to the past, and uh, I acknowledge who my friends are because moving along. So moving out of August. So like August, you might go back to your childhood home. You may really crave to go back to your childhood home, but can't. Um, but moving into September, into the month of September, into the season of Virgo, into the sixth house, we have the Knight of Swords here. And so the Knight of Swords is a person who looks back in anger, which I think almost every single last one of these videos, I talk about the Knight of Swords and the band Oasis and looking back in anger. I've probably listened to that song 5 times in my life, but it just like keeps coming up more and more. And I don't know if the guys from Oasis, as much as I've mentioned them in these videos, I should have looked it up by now. I don't know if they're an air sign or a Gemini or a Libra, other than the fact that the one guy kind of looks like John Lennon, and John Lennon is historically a Libra or famously a Libra, and has very like Libra ideologies in his music. Like Imagine a World Without Borders and things like that. So, what's going to really help you, or who is going to really help you in 2025 and most likely make themselves present to you in September 2025 is the Knight of Swords, who is typically a Gemini, but could be a Aquarius or Libra, who looks back in anger to the past. So, as I'm talking about X's and Nexes, it could be like an X who might have like a remedy for you. They might have something very healing. Like I said, there could have been a lot of people who are trying to like humble you because you're very beautiful or handsome. And they could have been like, oh, I told you that your red shirt was ugly, but it was like super beautiful. And I couldn't hold on to the guilt. And it makes me angry when I think about all the evil things I said to you. The Knight of Swords, I don't know, for some reason it does give like high school or college for whatever reason. Um, I don't know, like Virgo seems like elementary school to high school to me. And then Sagittarius, well, Leo kind of seems like like undergrad college, and then Sagittarius is like masters and doctorates for whatever reason. Taurus represents school as well. But this person wants to help you and heal you. They might have a job offer for you, a promotion, someone that you used to work with in the past that you made very angry, but like you put almost like sometimes like you put people to shame, it's like seeing someone struggle to reach something off of a high shelf their entire life, like they always have to go and reach for a stool or whatever, and then some, gigantic tall person just like goes and grabs it and it's no big deal. Um it's like if what do you call it? The knight and the sword and the stone. Like if the sword and the stone was just on a high shelf, and they just needed someone to grab it off of that high shelf because no one could reach. Instead of it being magically locked within a stone, and they'll help you. They'll help you. Are you King Arthur? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, and then moving into October 2025 in the season of Libra, we have the Page of Wands here. The seventh house, or the Libra season, this is a time period of love and attraction. Back in my day, when I was in high school, we used to call this like cuffing season because it's like it's getting colder. You want a relationship, um, and so I guess you'd be like bunned up or cuffed to this person, like handcuffs. fuzzy handcuffs because I'm from a Room Raiders next bus generation. And I see that you're attracting a relationship with the Page of Wands. So this is like a deeper relationship with yourself or another fire sign person. So as the Page of Pentacles comes up to me as like mice and cats, sometimes dogs, I actually see the Page of Cups as being more like a lap dog. And then the Strength card as being like, a huge ferocious animal. The Page of Wands, it tends to be more like a lizard or like a gecko, maybe a bird, like a parakeet or something like that. It could also be a chinchilla. I've been like receiving a lot of messages about chinchillas, ferrets, just like abnormal sort of pets, abnormal, atypical, like things that you wouldn't really expect, or an abnormal, atypical, asexual partner relationship. Um, could even be a deeper relationship with yourself. And I see that there's a lot of confusion around you because moving right into the next month of November 2025 in the eighth house of occultism and magic and life, death, and taxes in the season of Scorpio, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. So there is a lot of energy between you and Scorpio and Taurus. There is a Scorpio. I think I probably just like left you, like in the dust, and you don't know why. I think it may be because of like immigration documentation and things like that. If you feel abandoned by somebody, and also a lot of the times in relationships, when someone leaves you or abandons you or ghosts you, it has, even if it's like they don't like how tall you are, they don't like your shoe size, they don't like your fingernail color. That's usually just an excuse because they have other things going on in their life that make them not prepared for a relationship, especially a spendthrift Scorpio. So don't let that hurt your self esteem. So, this is what I'm saying in 2025. I don't necessarily see a reconciliation, but we practice magic here. So, if you want a reconciliation between this Taurus and Scorpio, you could definitely do some magic about it. But um, yeah, I think it might even be this Scorpio or somebody or a lot of people, a gang of people being like, we didn't support you, we were jealous of you. They have so much to work on themselves that you seem almost fictional to them. Like for a lot of people, I know when I think about Scorpio, I think of someone who's like very muscular and that they have like almost like an exoskeleton, like how a scorpion would have. But in lunar astrology or Chinese astrology, they say, or some people say, some people interpret Scorpio as being the equivalent of the sign of the pig, which I have seen, some Scorpios out there with, what looks like multiple breasts like a pig or, larger in size. And so they could have been struggling with their weight and their self esteem and then ghost, ghost, goodbye. But no, it's not, but they're not going to say, oh, your abs or your body makes me feel like I have low self esteem. So I'm going to make it because I don't like your mom or I don't like the shoes that you wear. I don't like how your glasses fog up, so I gotta leave. I don't like you. Ew, you wear glasses. Goodbye. And it's like, it's not because of the glasses, sweetie, but like, okay, tra la la. Um, so that's going on, and then the Seven of Cups is a very Scorpion card. So this is a thing that Scorpio goes through a lot. Where it's like, they might have to go to the dentist, they might have to go to the eye doctor, they might have to go to the foot doctor and the back doctor, and the chiropractor, and buy a new pair of shoes, and all get a tune up, all go to the mechanic and all those things. So they're just like overwhelmed. There's a lot on their plate, and I feel like there's a lot of attraction between you and Scorpio. Scorpio and Leo's a pretty typical couple. All right, so enough about the eighth house, enough about November. We're going to move into December, where I'm seeing a little bit more auspicious energy, where we have the Knight of Wands representing your month of December, your season of Sagittarius, your ninth house, the ninth house of higher education and long distance travel, which I think a lot, like I think a lot of people more so now than in the past are interested in. So if you're looking for financial aid, it may not come from the government. Uh, Jesus Christ, if we could all be so lucky. I mean, it could be like a grant or a scholarship or something. But I'm like, Jesus Christ, if we could all be so lucky to have some weird Sagittarius friend who's going to pay for our education in college, because that's kind of what I see here. Or they're going to help you, bring you an opportunity, bring you the paperwork for FAFSA, like, maybe some documentation that you're needing. Um, so, yeah. And also the Knight of Wands, it's typically a fire sign person, a very mobile fire sign person, so like they drive a car or something like that. Um, but I also see it as this card that represents like sudden miracles and affirmation. So the number one card, like if I'm doing a spread for you and you're like asking for advice and you're like, I'm butt crazy in love with Josh. Like how do I deal with my love for Josh? Uh, then I'd be like, okay, well, share Horowitz. It says six. Oh, actually, this is Six of Swords here. It says Six of Swords. So that means you need to practice positive affirmations or just affirmations in general of what you want and desire, and also surround yourself with good smelling aromas like deodorant and incense and good things that smell good. Oh, honey, you baked, stuff like very. I don't know, maybe it's Alicia Silverstone. She's gonna like help you pay for college or something. Um, you know, so it's like when she was going on that date with Chris in the movie Clueless, not the TV show, when she was going on a date with that guy Christian, and she put on his favorite movies. She pretended to be baking cinnamon buns. That's aromatherapy and positive, some type of affirmation of liking that person. So just as I was saying that you might be interested in someone who likes old movies, likes 90s nostalgia, likes 1970s nostalgia, but that might not be your cup of tea. Um, I guess if you're trying to manipulate them into a relationship or seduce them, that will work. I've been studying seduction, and a really good way to start the seduction or to get people to open up about their feelings or emotions is to get them to talk about their childhood, which you may not want to talk about your childhood, as I'm seeing that that is somewhat of an obstacle for you, or you may not want to hear about people's childhoods. You might be like, oh my God, I do not care what color Game Boy that you had, but you're so cute. Did you get Squirtle or Bulbasaur when you played Pokemon when you were a kid? Like, oh, what was your elementary school like? And you're just like, I do not care. So, and also, I guess it could also be this thing too about I saw on Saturday Night Live where it was talking about like Duolingo for children. It's like like for adults that don't have kids that then now have to interact with children. It's like, what do you say to them? And you may not want to say anything to them. You could even be a teacher and you're just like, please stop talking to me. And I forget which card. I mean, I guess it was the moving away from the Eight of Wands, where it's like, say like slang and things like that. Like you may not want to hear slang. You may not like slang. You may not have a full understanding of it, so it makes you uncomfortable because it's sort of like a language that you don't speak. Um, you may not like to talk like children or how the children talk nowadays. And then when it comes to love, like someone could be using like baby talk with you, and you might hate it. You might hate it. So just be aware of that. I mean, because I see that in the center of this reading, like the energy that's prevailing throughout 2025 is the Emperor reversed, and the Emperor is my like Donald Trump card, and it's reversed. So I don't know, depending on where you stand politically, if that's a good or bad thing. But whether if he wins or loses, he can't run again, so hopefully this is the end of his era of Terra. But I think like if Kamala wins, I really feel like he's probably going to run again if he's still alive. If not him, one of his children, which might be better, which may not be better. Who knows? So there is this like little part of me that's like, the Emperor, it's an orange card. It's the card that represents four. I'm like, maybe just give him another 4 years and he'll just like go away and we'll never have to hear from him again. Um, but I'm not a political strategist yet, so who knows? But that's what I see here. And then moving into, so this is also, I mean, I think the election is this year, but uh, that could be an energy that carries throughout 2025. There could be people like, denying the results of the election, no matter which way it goes. Um, and that could come to a head maybe in like December and January. Like there could be issues with that. But this is December and January of 2025, approaching 2026. So that's not December and January of 2024 when the election is happening. You could be watching this video around that time, and there could be like that could be something that's on your mind or a reflection. You could have in your mind like, is Donald Trump, like that could be your tarot question, like is Donald Trump going to win the election? And I don't know, when it comes to elections and things like that, like there's people, I believe, in my experience of doing this for nearly a decade, that there's people's minds who you can't read. Like what I've seen is that like RuPaul's mind is really hard to read. I am fully aware that there's a lot of shamanic architecture in Washington, D.C. that sort of like protects all of the evil things that they're doing over there. Um, so I don't really, I can always ask, you know what I mean? You can always ask what it says. But it will never really say like yes or no unless I get the judgment card like upright or reversed. Sometimes it'll say something like a deviation from tradition. And then also there can be outcomes that we don't fully understand. Like so I would do readings a lot on like the outcome of RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't do a reading on Shea Coulee versus Sasha Velour, but I kind of just had it in my head that Shea was going to win. But I did do readings on, I want to say, the people from like maybe season 12 or 13, and it was very confusing because I pretty much got the 10 of swords for everyone. So I was like, I don't feel like anybody wins this show. Like I just feel like it's the money's publicity and it's just bad publicity. There isn't any money, sort of thing, which makes me feel really sad. Not because like I've invested a lot of time to be like a drag queen and on Drag Race, but it was sort of like a fantasy of mine. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no money in it. Like, I mean, you got to do your art, you got to do your passion, whatever, whatever. But it's like to think that, let's say like Tony Hawk had a reality TV show, and it's like, okay, become America's next top skater, and we're gonna pay you $500,000 if you win. Um, for certain people in certain socioeconomic circumstances, $100,000, $20,000, $25, would really change their situation, and especially like for street people like drag queens and skateboarders, like I don't think it's really nice or kind or fair to put this fake carrot in front of their face and like one day you could get $100,000 paycheck and it never happens. So that's something I've been thinking about. I don't know that to be 100% true or anything. It's just like messages that have been coming to me. And as I'm looking here in the month of January in the season of Capricorn, which is about destiny, long term goals, your career, I do see the Five of Swords reversed, which talks about people winning by deception. So, you might meet somebody who works in digital marketing and they appear to be so successful, but they don't really work and their father pays for everything, and they're just winning by deceit. Oh, I graduated from just at a party in a conversation. Oh, I swam 200 miles. I graduated from Oxford. Uh, my wife is the only person I've ever had sex with, and you're like, oh, wow, like these people are really like, um, are really like respectable and things like that, but they're just trying to win by deceit. And you can join in with them or you don't have to, but I do see that in January there will be a lot of people trying to win by deceit Or actually, what I've been feeling throughout this reading is a lot of people like apologizing to you who were trying to defeat you by deceit. Like, um, it's such a stupid story, but like I had a friend once, like we're doing like book reports or something in elementary school or like not kindergarten, what do you call it, like middle school or something. And I was like known for wearing Bob Marley shirts all the time. I don't, it's not a big deal, whatever. But then he chose to do his project on Bob Marley, and then kept calling him Nestor like he knew him better than me. And it was just so weird. It was like such a weird like obsessive interaction to have with a person. So it's like, you might love Ina Gardner and have watched every episode of, her Italian Kitchen and everything, and then your friend is like, "Oh, I met her. I've hung out with her. She dedicated a chapter of her book to me." And it's just like, okay, good, good, good for you. You know what I mean? Like, she don't actually like you. She ain't cooking you anything. Um, Whatever. And then for me, as a spiritualist, as a medium, any like celebrity that I kind of gravitate towards, they do tend to be, in the band of the departed. So to me, it was like maybe he felt competitive with me spiritually in mediumship, or he was just jealous and obsessed with me. Some weird, crazy stuff like that. But I don't know. I just like felt super compelled to tell that story. I don't even feel like telling stories right now. I keep telling myself that these videos are going to be 5 minutes, and here we are at the 36-minute mark. But that's okay because we are now moving into the 11th house, Aquarius season, February 2025. We have the Six of Swords reverse. So this is where I was talking about baking cinnamon buns, seasoning the pot. I used to work at Williams Sonoma, and they do this thing where like they have like this one little oven burner and pot, and they put like olive oil and bacon and shallots and things to make it seem like somebody's cooking in there, like that smell good. And they call it like seasoning the store. And I know that like malls and hotels apparently do the same thing, but I think with like more synthetic fragrances or whatever. Uh, and this is saying to me that if you were to do that, uh, and the thing about like positive affirmation or being a positive person is it is fake at first because you're depressed at first. At first, you're depressed. And then you start saying happy things to yourself, you start singing, and then before you know it, you're singing, you're dancing, and you're authentically and genuinely in a good mood. So you might have an Aquarius friend or some air sign friends that are attacking your self-esteem, a Libra. It could be attacking your reputation. Um, and all you have to do is kind of like, so the Five of Swords right next to the Six of Swords, like you just kind of have to wait for vindication. So in January 2025, you could experience someone who's like lying on your name or like, using your name as an excuse or a lie. And you're just gonna have to wait it out until you're vindicated from the people like discovering that what the people are saying about you is not true. And the beginning of 2026 for you, I don't know if I just said February 2025 or February 2026, but this is February 2026, just for clarity. But January, February, March 2026, there's a lot of social drama, unnecessary social drama, people trying to like lure you into fights and things like that. Um, because I see the Five of Swords in January, the Six of Swords in February, and then the Four of Swords reverse in March. In the 12th house, in the season of Pisces, in the merry, merry month of March, Four Swords reversed. So I was doing a reading for someone, and it was like, stop praying. And I was like, that's never really my advice, but it could be like, stop praying in the way that you are. Maybe you're like meditating. It also feels like somebody coming out of rest, someone coming out of a deep coma, um, somebody who might have been fasting. It's like to end your fast. I don't know when Ramadan happens. I know it's like sporadic sometimes, like it's like different parts of the year. I don't know if it ever happens in March. But people will be coming out of fasting in March. What is it? Lent. Lent is in March, so it could be something that you're giving up. You might be giving up celebrating Lent in March for whatever reason. And then moving right along, so the energy that you can pretty much experience. So I guess this is someone coming out of rest because the energy that you're heading towards throughout the rest of 2026 and your future is that of the moon, which is, well, it's the moon reversed. So you might stop paying attention to the movements of the moon. If you had a dog or two, you might get rid of them and you'll be feeling a lot less lonely. So, you could have like a cat or a dog or an iguana or a Sasquatch or just some, Montauk monster living in your home thinking that it's keeping you company. Or you could have like a million Pokemon plushies or toys or dolls or Barbies or something like that. Like 90s, creepy 90s nostalgia, too much. Um, Yo-yos, Lisa Frank posters, whatever it is, that are keeping you company and that you feel like are healing your inner child. And it's like almost like, like I said, like revenge against your mother. So it's like your mom didn't want to buy you Barbies, or she bought you Malibu Barbie and you wanted ballerina Barbie, so now you got 50, instead of chopping her up with an axe, you just went out and you bought 50 ballerina Barbies. But now when you invite guys over to your house, there's all these Barbies everywhere. You know what I mean? And they're like, "What's your deal with Barbie?" So and that could be Barbies, that could be dogs, like I said, Pokemon plushies. You might have you might have had a lot of dogs in the past, and you have like their urns everywhere. You may have even got one of your dogs taxidermied, and it's like scary as hell. So there's a lot of things that you're holding on to from the past that once you get rid of and let go of, you'll be feeling a lot less lonely. Okay, Leo? Alrighty, so thank you so much for listening. If you would like your own personal tarot forecast, you can request one on my website. This is pretty much what it would be like. You can get it as a text message, a video, or a phone call. I recommend the video because I leave them up here for years. There are people who have booked videos with me back in 2018, 2019, and their videos are still up, and I see their views going up every once in a while. So you can always like go back and watch it and things like that. And it has been so great offering you this guidance and clarity. I hope to hear from you soon, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.